And let's get the green screen up. There we go. Perfection. And then I need to go down here and change that to all messages. There we go. It's kind of dumb how you can't set up like your green screen or your chat settings prior. You actually have to go through and do that during your stream. It's so stupid. But anyways, we're live. We're vibing. As you can see, you're seeing a preview of something. Of my car. You see the lights? Oh yeah. She's looking sexy. That is also practical too. Very practical. So, if you don't know, yellow light actually, pierces through, like, fog and snow and stuff like that, like white light. A lot better than what a white light would. White light actually refracts off of it. And so, as a result, makes it worse. So, instead now, I've tinted just the low beams, not the high beams, just the low beams. The yellow. To be honest, this is going to cut into, like, this won't be near as bad for, like, blinding people. And, like I said, I'll be able to see better when the weather is bad. So, honestly, I'm so happy for this. And shout out to What Do You Want on here. I can't remember the number after his name, but I shouted him out in the video as well that I took. Now, to be fair, I'm waiting for the sun to set so I can finish my video. And then that video will be out tonight for you guys. So, give it probably, like when I'm done this live stream, I'll go finish my video. That way, because I need to actually, for it to be nighttime, so I can actually show that, right? So that's going to be the next video that you guys will see, like I said, probably tonight. So, honestly, though, she is such a cool car, and I love it. Hey, thank you, Cincy. Appreciate that. And yeah, to be honest, it is so exciting for that. There's going to be a lot of upgrades coming to this car in the next little while. They haven't shipped it out yet, and so I'm probably going to call QA1 tomorrow. I have the extension properly and everything for my contact at QA1. So we'll just talk to him and go from there. Oh, no. I did not mean to click on that. There we go. Sorry, I saw a, there we go. Sorry, I was just checking out a comment on one of my videos. So, but honestly, yeah, like, the car is going to be completely transformed, and I can't wait for that. Now, some of it should be pretty easy overall. Some of it's going to be very difficult in the grand scheme of things. I mean, not, like, super difficult, but difficult enough. Where... So, like, this car, like, I will fully say what this car is getting, right? So, I'm getting coilovers, both front and rear, for this car. I'm getting a full sway bar kit. I'm getting a tubular key member. And I am getting camber caster plates for it. So, with all that, this thing is going to be an absolute freaking monster on the track. Now, granted, she's not going to be very fast in a straight line, but that's not the point. It's all about the handling, right? That's what I'm doing with this car. Now, I do want to upgrade the power, but there's something, and I've talked about it in a couple of live streams, and I'm just debating it. I do want to do it, but I'm debating it, honestly. Of that tri-power intake and head setup that I've got, I have thought about trying to sell it to actually abandon that and go to either an Aussie 250, a Brazilian 221, a Argentinian 250, or a crossflow head. The crossflow would be the best, but it requires the most work. The other ones are just a straight bolt-in job. So, you know, we shall see how that all kind of works out, if I do that or not. Because, to be honest, I think it'd be close. Excuse me. So, I would need to clear a bit of cashola, to be fair, to do that. And because I think, like, to get a crossflow head here... is good enough. will cost, about $400 ish, and then uh, and that would be with the intake and the exhaust header that I would need, or at the very least, if it's not a header, it's at least an exhaust manifold, and then I can go to I can swap that out later. Like, I have a friend who is more than willing to build headers for me, and I can actually get him to build me a header at some point for the car, and just go that way. If I just pay for the materials, he's pretty okay with that usually. So, we shall see. Which, I mean, granted, to get the piping and all that stuff, and then like, I'd have him model it off of the long tube that I've got, right? Make that all fit and everything with the cross flow and everything, and then the the block will have to be machined to accept it though. So, you know, but she's gonna be incredible. And like, right now, if you don't know what my goal is, I kind of explained it. Like, that was a update from a TikTok, or not TikTok, sorry, like a YouTube live. Like, it showed up as like a highlight, so I actually posted it, to be honest. So my goal with this car is the next track day, or at least the one I normally go to if he's there, which he normally is. He has a Lotus 7. I want to try and outrun him if I can, or at least get really effing close to his times if I can. So that'll be trying to, and dialing in the suspension is going to be a thing. To see how stiff do I want it, how low do I want this thing, all that different stuff, right? It's all pretty basic. Like, I didn't get like the holy shit adjustability and crap, but I got a decent amount of adjustability out of it. So we'll see. Um, and yeah, I'm just so excited, honestly, for that. Because like I said, she is going to be one hell of a car on the road course. Because she already kind of is, with stock suspension on it. And yeah, you did, Kelly. How you doing? Nice to see ya. Also, do I see that you are actually like I didn't realize you were part of the Katarina's Garage Bros. That's an inside joke from a long time ago on the channel. For reference, we made that KGB joke like 5 years ago. So for those that have been around that long, right? It's kind of interesting when I made the channel memberships. I only have, I think, like 6 of you that actually do the memberships, but that's okay, honestly. Like, I'm not asking people to do more. Like, it'd be cool if they did, but it's not really the end of the world. But yeah, so you can see though what I did. It looks so good, honestly, and I'm so happy with that. And it's funny how people kept quoting the law to me. Oh, hey, you know that it's illegal to tint your lights. Yeah, it's also illegal to make your lights brighter than they are. And yet none of those two ever get ticketed. Unless if your lights are like extremely dim, right? So it's interesting. Yeah, I do. Like, it's only, I think it's $6 a month on those, which it shows that you are one. It shows a little blue star thing there beside your name. So, which is cool, honestly. I am so ecstatic about that. And you've been one of the best cheerleaders of the channel for quite a while now, and I very much appreciate you, Kelly. Like, you were incredible. Also, something, now, I've never asked you, even in our, like, emails and whatever else that we've done back and forth. Because, okay, Kelly can be a male or a female name. I've never asked, which one are you? Because obviously, I don't think we've ever ran into each other anywhere, or anything like that. And if we have, I apologize. I do forget a lot of faces, to be fair. But I'm not aware, honestly, if you're a guy or a girl, because you've never had any inkling in the chat or anything like that about that. So I'm just curious. Because you're a 50-something male. Okay, got you. I figured, but I wanted to make sure. So, cool. All right, now I know. Yay. That's good. Because, yeah, it was one of those things, like, with a lot of your correspondence, whatever else to me. Like, I had an inkling, but you never know. To be honest, do I talk like your average female? No. A lot of people claim that I'm a male, which is kind of funny, you know? So there's that. 90% of your friends, I know them just by their car, not by their actual names. Right? Right? Exactly. Exactly. Um, and that's the same with me. Like, when they say, oh yeah, a name, I'm like, what? Who is that? Then they show me a face. I'm like, again, who is that? Then they show me their car. I'm like, okay, yes. That's how that goes. That's how that goes with all of my friends. Like, as an example, um, like, Kelly's name actually, is, Kelly Pink Truck YouTube. I believe is how I have your, thing on my phone. So it's kind of funny. And hi, Jamie. How you doing? Oh yeah, it's not necessarily like my voice. Like people will try and insinuate it because sometimes my voice can get a little deep, or if I'm like really tired, you'll actually hear that like I get a really deep voice when I'm tired. Um, yeah, and hey, eventually I'm hoping that that's my truck. You know, because again, that is a dream spec of a truck, and I can't wait. Oh, don't you know there, Tony, that this hot chick is like famous across Alberta for her fox bodies. Fuck. It's kind of funny that people like, because how many times I got recognized at the swap meet, and how many times that I actually had, like, I had a couple of comments, honestly, about that, of like, hey, when are you gonna put out more content? I'm like, I'm working on it right now, okay? Stop it. And then I edited, like, it's funny. I edited that entire video and uploaded that video before the swap meet was actually over. I did not actually make it to the end of the swap meet. I was just so bagged, and I had to go home. So, I was there from about 8:30 until 3-ish. And so then that's where you see me, like, I'm all wrapped up and stuff. I was trying to find some, there was apparently one part that I wanted to see it, that I was told about late into the swap meet. I was told of it at about 2:30. I'm like, well, people are starting to pack up by now, and I couldn't find it. What it was actually was, apparently it was a tri-power setup, like just the intake for one of these little inline sixes, and I think I know what it is. I think it's that kit that you can buy to convert your 200 or your 250 or whatever into a tri-power setup. And it's just, you machine the two holes out and you bolt this whole thing down on top of your intake, right? So we'll see. Well, hey, I mean, I appreciate that, and like I said, I hope that everything like works out with that thing, whatever else, and I hope that everything works out with your other vehicles too, because I know like that you were trying to get your taco on the road, but I haven't heard much updates about that, to be honest, because I haven't seen you in a bit in the live streams, to be fair. But then again, I haven't been live as much, and we haven't really texted or messaged each other or anything like that. So there's that. Um, but yeah, like that thing will be so cool, and it'll be so practical for me, even though it's a short box. But that's fine. Like long boxes are more practical, but a short box is just so cool, right? So, and it's a 4x4, and it's a stick, and you've already done like a lot of the good stuff on it. Like the only thing that I might do is put some mufflers on it. Maybe do like a roll bar in the back with some big like KC daylighters or something along those lines. And leave it alone other than that. Because it's already, like, pretty much perfect. I mean, fix the rust on the front fenders, too. Either find some fenders or patch those, and then try and match the paint, which would be a nightmare. But, yeah. Still muck and ice in here? No, that's valid, that's valid. I mean, it's nice, because, like, here, most of it's melted, so I've been able to do some stuff on the car, whatever else. Like, because you saw that last week, I did the diff cover on the car. And this week I did the tint on the headlights. To be fair, that didn't take me that long. It took me longer to do the diff cover than it did to do the tint. The tint only took me half hour. Like, really wasn't that bad. So yeah, and that was just really cool that I was gifted that tin. And it's got stainless steel brake lines. Damn. So you're setting my truck up pretty good. Heck yeah. You have a K1500 long box that you daily drive. I love it to death, but sometimes I do miss driving the SS. Yeah, that's understandable. Like, I daily this thing, and I do miss my truck to a certain degree. But that truck went to very good things for the cars, so this girl is excited. Hey, Saber, get your butt over here. Haha. Hey, look! A surprise kitty cat. Shows his face. Mwah. I love that this dude says that that's a dude. Sir? You're a dude, your mom's a dude, your grandma's a dude. Everybody's a dude. Dude. Oh yeah, that truck would be. And it's probably a little more reliable than my old truck, even though that truck was pretty much bulletproof, but, you know. Like, and the thing is, the only other thing I might do, because like I said, if I actually ever get that freaking TVD6 off of Tanner, if I can't adapt it into this, I might throw it into that truck, right? So have a TVD6, inline 6, 4x4, step side, you know, OBS Ford? Be pretty damn cool, right? So we'll see. We'll see. Oh, I mean, all vehicles do have their little niggles here and there, and that's fine, you know? My name is Katarina, not Katrina. You're missing the other A, but hi! How you doing? Yeah, I'm just getting rid of this person, because nope, nope, nope. They be gone. I'm not... Anybody that's gonna be like that in my chat, they can just fuck off, so... Oh, I bet you do, honestly. You know, and like, where it's kind of interesting. The car gets mixed stuff, because a lot of people see it, and they're just like, oh, that's kind of a piece of shit. Other people see it, and they're just like, hey, that's pretty badass, right? So it just really depends. You like trucks? Well, welcome to the chat. I like trucks, too. What kind of trucks are you into? You know? I'm into a lot of different trucks, but the older the better for the most part. So... Okay. I'll be okay. Ah! Stay. There we go. The lamb tried to knock itself over. That was just rude. Oh, I'm not wrapping it. No. No. So here's the thing. I'm not a fan of wraps, and the reason why is if you absolutely take care of it and do everything right on maintenance of a wrap, it'll last you maybe 8 years if you're really, 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 really lucky. However, with me having the car outside all the time, not having covered storage, not having heated storage for it, I'd be lucky to get, let's see, be lucky to get 3 years out of it. So to spend all that money on wrap is not worth it for only that amount of time. And I'm just getting rid of the trolls. You like all except Volvo and the 6-liter. You don't throw the 6.4 in that conversation? Because the 6.4 is shit. But also, Volvo trucks, so like that's big trucks. Because Volvo's never made a pickup truck. That'd be like semi-trucks and stuff like that. Which, I mean, to be honest, I'll know a bit on semi-trucks, but not a ton. They can be cool. Can be, but it just depends on the semi-truck, to be fair. There we go. But yeah, like, and that's the thing with my car, right? I will eventually, you know, have, like, the bodywork kind of done on this car and a half reasonable paint job, it's never going to be a mint car. Like, people need to get that through their heads. Because if it was a mint car, I would never want to drive it. And that's the problem. Like, even the T-Bird, right? That was a driver quality car, and I was scared to drive it at times. So, now, though, it's like I have this thing, and I race this car, and I daily it. Rain, snow, or shine. Literally, I've driven this thing through the worst blizzards and through the worst rainstorms you can think of. I have done it in this car. So there's that. And yes, the 6.4 is pretty much a boat anchor. The 6-liter can be too. Like, I mean, you have to put like 10 grand in it to make it a half reasonable motor, but yeah. Hi, Faber. Hi, buddy. Whoa. Can I get the big purrs out of you? Hey, can I get the big purrs? And yeah, so the Thunderbird was a 78 Thunderbird. It's technically still around, it's just not here. So, but that Thunder Chicken, was such a good, like, it's such a good vehicle, and I finally sold it, you know, so that thing will be picked up probably, I'm gonna guess, in, like, late spring or summer. So we'll see. Two-stroke Detroit, so that's what, 6.2 Detroit or 6.5? It wasn't a 504. Cadillac made a 500. Cubic gauge V8. And that they had that motor from like the mid 60s until the late 70s. But they were awesome, honestly. That generation of Thunderbird is very underrated. You know, a lot of people just see it and go, why? But that's on the MN12 platform. They have the 4.6 in them, which is just like legendary reliability. 4R70W, which again, fantastic transmission. And they just go. Like, and they're very aerodynamic. They handle really well. They're so comfortable. Like, they're fantastic, honestly. Are 671 and up. Oh, okay. Okay, so that's like, you're talking like big Detroit then. You're not talking like the 6.5s or anything like that. Got you, like semi-trucks. Admittedly, yeah, I don't know much on the sounds of like semi-trucks, to be fair. I don't pay as close of attention to them. Like, they're cool as shit, but, you know, it's just something that I will never really own, so I don't really bother as much with it. Like, that's something I would pay attention to that I still like and, you know, but I wouldn't actually own. There's that, but, you know. Hi, Teeper. Oh, your boss has a Super Coupe. Yeah, actually, they are. So, the Super Coupe has a 3.8 supercharged motor that makes about, it's around 300 horsepower, actually. And like I said, they are super aerodynamic, they handle incredibly well, and they are just an absolute monster, you know? And they're a great car. Like, I would own a Super Coupe in a heartbeat. You can also get them as a stick, too, which is cool. You know, like, a lot of them were automatics, but to be honest, you find a stick one, and just like, oh! It's great. It's great. And yes, I've heard of the Cadillac 472. That preceded the 500, actually. So the 472 came out, and I think it was 62. I must say 61 or 62. And like I said, it was the same sort of platform as the 500. And, you know, they were like a high compression, made a lot of power for what they were, but couldn't rev very high, just like the 500, right? You're lucky if you got it to 5,000 RPM. If you did, you might grenade the valve train, to be honest, in them. So it's difficult to actually build one to make it rev. They just don't do that. But they're great. Well, you know, it's interesting because that's a North American issue, like as in Canada, United States. Because over in Europe, here's the thing. About 30 to 40% of vehicles on the road are actually stick shift in Europe. So we're comparatively to, I think it's only like 5% over here, and it's only like 15% of at least American drivers. I'm not sure the Canadian demographic of that for how many drivers, but yeah. But honestly, like stick is fantastic. Like anytime you can drive stick, it's amazing. And there's only like a handful of stick shift vehicles you can still buy brand new, right? Like, and you can't get a diesel, like a big diesel truck in a stick anymore, which is like that's stupid. Why? If anything, when you're towing, you want a stick shift, right? So you can actually be in the gears that you want, not have some floppy paddle bullshit that doesn't want to listen to you, because they never do. So, I don't hate driving automatics. Like, I can deal with it and it's fine. But I definitely prefer stick when I can, right? Like, anytime I can. And that's something that, like, I've thought about it. And now my dad wouldn't go for it. But, like, if I had the money and if he would actually, like, agree to it, I would swap his Avalanche to a stick. I think that'd be so cool to have a stick shift Z71, '04 Avalanche would be dope as all hell. But they never offered it in a stick, right? And the last of that sort of like, so because it's based on the Suburban, right? So the last Suburban you can get it as a stick. You might have to go back to square body Suburbans, to be honest, because I don't think they offered a stick in the OBSs for the Suburban. Which is, again, sad, Exactly, right? Like, and that's the thing, like, and hey, if you're going to tow a bunch of weight, don't have it in fifth gear. Like, don't have it in overdrive. Have it in your 1-to-1 gear. Sure, you're going to get a lot worse fuel economy, but trust me, you're not going to grenade your transmission doing it. So there's that. I've never driven an 18-speed, to be honest. It'd be kind of fun. I've only driven one semi-truck, and it was an automatic. It was weird, though, because it still had a clutch. Like, it was a Freightliner Cascadia from 2004, right? So it had, like, a floppy paddle thing, but it had a clutch, and you needed the clutch to stop and to set off. It was so bizarre, honestly. Like, so bizarre. So, and just doing this. Now, hang on. I don't know why his stuff didn't do that. You got paddles in your SS sedan, but I would trade for a 6-speed and a heartbeat. Oh, yeah, they can be. It's not guaranteed, but even the SSs, you could get the 6-speed in them. You could. They were extremely rare, but you could. Like, and that's the thing. The SS, it was so sad, honestly, of the, when it came to the SS, to be honest, like the Chevy SS, they did not market that car worth for shit. And for some reason, like why? If they actually marketed that car right, they would have sold a lot of them. But most people didn't even realize they were a thing until they were gone. So why GM made that decision, I have no idea. Like, they lost so much money on the Chevy SS program. It's just nuts. Have I ever drove anything with a 2-speed rear end? No, I've never driven anything quite that old in a truck. The oldest thing I've ever driven was a 1956 Pontiac Pathfinder. That's it. Oh, yeah, honestly, a lot of semis are automatic now, and it's just like, again, why? But I guess, you gotta be on the phone, whatever else. Yeah, they invented headsets for a reason. You don't have your phone holding up and doing this while trying to fucking shift anymore. Like, what? Like, everybody has a goddamn Blue Parrot. Everybody has a Blue Parrot if they're a truck driver. I know that. I know a few truck drivers. Hell, even my dad has a Blue Parrot that he got from a truck driver. Although he doesn't use the Blue Parrot anymore. He replaced it with a cheaper unit, but it works, so. Yeah, and it's in one commercial for a split second. Exactly. Like, that, again, that SS, because they could have made that for a lot longer, and I actually think it would have sold extremely well, because it wasn't that expensive. Like, the SS, I think, started at, it was like 35 or 40 grand, right? Which, I mean, again, is a little pricey, but for what it is, it's not terrible, because you got that 6.2 in it. You could have a fucking 6-speed manual, which I'm not sure if they were a TVT6 or not, but regardless, like, they could hold a lot of power. The chassis was fantastic. They looked pretty good. Like, I don't understand their thinking, honestly, on that. It's wild. And now, like, the Chevy SS could have been playing around with Hellcats and stuff like that. And then it would have brought Ford into the fold of, like, okay, let's make a Hellcat sort of contender. Because Ford and Chevrolet have never really tried to go after the Hellcat. As in, like, the Chargers is what I mean, right? Because obviously, like, the Challenger, yeah, they went after that with the ZL1 Camaro and, like, the Shelby Mustangs. But, you know. Oh, I bet you do, to be honest. Because they look a lot like a Cruise, but they're just, like, they're a little wider, and they look a little more aggressive than a Cruise. But, yeah. And it's just, again, it was, and they lost millions upon millions of dollars because they fucked up and didn't do any advertising on that car. Like, and I don't know if I've seen a worse commercial failure due to incompetence within the company than that in the automotive realm. Like, can I really think of anybody else? Like, any other car? I don't think so. And it's just, it's sad. It's sad. Because, yeah, not gonna lie, I'd much rather see those around. Actually, the SSR, the failure with that is they started with the 5.3 and only put the 6-liter in really late. That was their problem with that, because everybody complained about how slow it was. They should have had the option for 5.3 or 6-liter from the beginning. So there's that. And, you know, but also, like, the SSR was, it was a bad idea. Like, they were trying to capitalize on the craze of the PT Cruiser, right? Because everybody was chasing the PT Cruiser's tail feathers on that retro styling. So you had the PT Cruiser come out first, then you had the Prowler come out with that retro styling. Then you had, like, the Charger come out with the retro styling, and you had the HHR, the SSR, and there was one other one. Ford never went for that, though. It's interesting. Like, I mean, Ford did the retro styling, to be fair, in 2005 with the S197 Mustang. They did do that, and it looked fucking amazing. But yeah. Like, it's interesting. Oh, yeah, one of their new trucks is just like, no. I have zero interest in that stuff. They are just a ticking time bomb. Honestly, and they're terrible. And you'd own an SSR, and the Prowler needed a V8. See, the Prowler doesn't need a V8. People say that, and I understand because the concept had a Hemi in it. But you know all that needs? To actually make a Prowler quick, put an exhaust on it, give it a tune, swap out the rear gear. They had, like, a highway gear in them of, like, a 308. Swap that to a 355, and boom, completely transforms that Prowler. It has about 300 horsepower, and you have a car that only weighed, like, 3,100 pounds. So it actually fucking hauls ass doing that. And the thing is, that 3.5 V6 is actually a pretty good motor, honestly. You can make them sound pretty good, too. So, quite a bit more. So, that 3.5 didn't weigh very much. They're only, like, about 350 pounds, give or take. They're not that heavy. Where the Hemis are closer to 500 pounds. Like, they're a little bit of a picky that way. So there's that. Like, the HHR, now what's really cool is they made the HHR and then they made it into a panel, which is really neat. They never did the panel with the PT Cruiser, but there's probably a reason for that, right? And case in point, how many HHR panels have you seen around? Even back then, you didn't see them. And now, the most unicorn of the HHR was the HHR SS panel. You could get that HHR, with the same engine out of the Cobalt SS. So whether it was the supercharged 4-cylinder or that turbo 4-cylinder, it depends on the year, for it. And the thing is, those things hauled ass. Only 212 of those HHR SS panels were ever created. And they're weird because like they're a full panel truck, right? Like they don't have side windows in them besides, driver and passenger. It shows that it has like the rear doors, but you can't open them from the outside. You have to open it from the inside. So that's a little weird on them. And, but like there's no rear seat in them. It's just all flat. And like they were designed, like the HHR panel was designed as like a work sort of like wagon, right? And it worked really well for that. But I will admit it's cooler than PT Cruiser, but there's something in me. It's a weird perversion that I have, and I don't know why. But I would own a PT Cruiser GT convertible with a stick. I would. It is one of those weird unicorns that it's like, that'd be kind of fun to like hop up and make it really fast, and then like so many people would be like, the fuck? I just got beat by this chick in a PT Cruiser convertible? What the hell is wrong with me, right? Why is my stuff so slow? I would honestly, like I said, I would own one. Now, I will say, no. PT Cruisers are cool. I don't care what anybody says, a PT Cruiser is a cool car. I will fight them to the death on that. Especially the GT, because the GT is an SRT4 Neon. It is. It just makes 15 less horsepower because of how restrictive they had to make the header due to the front end design. Again, Cincy, they had the SRT4 motor. They did. The GTs did. And even the Limiteds, it wasn't the full-on 2.4, but they had a 2-liter turbo in them that still made a good amount of power, too. Like, that's what everybody forgets. Is that they did have an SRT4. It was just called a GT. And you could get the same stick shift and everything from the SRT4 Neon, same suspension, all that jazz. Right? See, it's interesting. I've known people with PT Cruisers and never had an issue with them. But, but I've also heard of people that, like, say that PT Cruisers, that Neons are such pieces of shit, but yet I know other people that have had Neons. We even had a Neon back in the day. They were fantastic. Like, so I don't know who to really believe, to be honest, when it comes to that. Oh, yeah, they did. They did. And yeah, like, they're not easy to work on. I know that. Like, they're a pain in the ass, those PT Cruisers. Because, again, it's a Neon underneath, but they have that stupid pike nose on it, so it makes it impossible to work on the motor. Because they're a little narrower than a Neon is, actually, especially on the nose. So it makes it, like I said, maintenance on them is a lot harder. But if you know how to work on them, they're actually not the worst thing to own. And now, because like my mom had a Neon, and it was funny. So at the time, I'm sure you guys remember, any of you that are old enough to have lived around the turn of the millennia, from about 2000 to 2007-ish, there was this kind of craze. I mean, it started in the 90s, to be fair. But there was this craze of like, tribal graphics and neon lights and big stereos, right? Like, what we called sex spec cars. My mom kind of made her Neon into a mini sex spec Neon. It was fantastic. Honestly, now, I mean, if I saw that, I'd be like, that's a ricer. But back then, it was just cool, right? And so, yeah, like, now she never put, like, the big body kit or any proper wheels on it or anything like that. But like I said, we installed neon lights on it. We installed that tribal vinyl on the side of it. And we installed a big-ass sub box in the back. It was fan-fucking-tastic. Okay, you graduated in 2007. So you're a little older than I am, because I mean, I was a kid, right, when all that was going on, like a lot more of a kid. Because I graduated in 2015, right? I'm gonna be 30 this year, so it's one of those things of the time, and it's kind of interesting, like explaining that time period to everyone, right? Although to be honest, Cincy, I wouldn't say Fast and Furious for that, because that craze started before Fast and Furious, right? That started in the 90s in Japan with like Bozoku and with like Max Power magazine and stuff like that, right? That's where it started. And then, granted, it didn't become as mainstream until Fast and Furious. I will grant you that. But it's not where it started, right? And yes, big stereos did start in the 70s. You're not wrong. Like, the 70s cars had the best fucking stereos. I will argue anybody to the death on that. You get any, like, as an example, factory vehicles in the 70s with, like, a good stereo system, like, go jump in an old BMW 5 Series with the Sennheiser stereo system. It's the best stereo you'll ever hear in your life. It's a factory system, and nothing touches it. I've never heard anything be as clear with as much bass and just overall like sound quality was amazing, honestly. Like, so there was a lot of that. And even like, I miss the big home sound systems that were everywhere. I actually like, and to be honest, if I have money and I find like on Marketplace or something like that of like a good old, like as an example, like a Marantz or something like that, or a Sennheiser, like home stereo system from like the 70s or the 80s, you bet your ass I'll buy that. I will 100% buy that, and I will have it in my house. And I'll be so happy because the sound will be better than what we've got right now. Because we'll say, oh no, modern stereos are better. No, they're not. The head units might be a little better for car audio, but that's it. Like, the actual, if you want, like, to do bass competitions, whatever else, right? Where, other than that, like, and it was really cool to see, like, the gimmicky stereos. I loved it. I loved it. Oh, exactly. A 10-band equalizer. See, exactly. See, Kelly knows what's up. Kelly knows what's up. That stuff was the shit. And like I said, I loved the, like, I loved all the gimmicky ass stereos. Like, anybody that knows sound systems will know the Dolphins. If you know, you know. The hideaway head units and stuff like that were, again, so gimmicky, but so fun. Even, now granted, this was a little later, but if you guys remember Hail Mary, and the stereo that was in that, it was a Sony stereo that was made, I believe, in 2009. It was the last of, like, what I would consider the golden era of, like, gimmicky-ass stereos. Because that thing had a hidden CD player in behind it, right? Like, and yes, the Kenwood Dolphins. It's fucking fantastic. But, like, you hit the eject button, and it drops the stereo face, and hey, look, there's a hidden CD player. It's like, they couldn't just put a slit in the stereo. No. You had to drop the stereo face to get access to your disc drive, right? It was just awesome. Having 6 disc CD changers in the back of cars. Actually, I think my dad or my mom's GTP had, I think it was an 8-disc CD changer in the back. That was dope. It was dope. From the factory. But yeah, like, honestly. And now, Geo Bugman is just mentioning that the heyday was 90 to 96. Base wars were huge. 92, you won 3 trophies, hitting 196. Hot damn, man. That's insane. But yeah, like, the base wars back then was just so awesome. Like I said, and those sex spec cars, too. Oh. Because, like, that all those cars, for the most part, they weren't just all, like, base as fuck machines. A lot of them had, like, big body kits and gaudy-ass interiors of a bunch of, like, fur and shit. It was great. It was great. Like, bring that style back. Seriously. Bring it back. You had the Type XS and a 240SX and they thumped hard. Oh, yeah. They were good, honestly. Yeah, I mean, so was Sony. Sony used to be the king of some of these, like, stereo units in the cars. Now, it's kind of shit. and sad. Hey, Sparkle-matic. That's actually what my truck had in it. Somebody put a Sparkle-matic in the dead side when I first got it. I had tried to swap it out for an 8-track player, and that just didn't work out, honestly. I don't know what went wrong, but I was starting to have a bit of electrical issues and whatever else. So I was just like, oh man. So I didn't have a functional stereo very long in that car, in that truck. And fun fact, that Sparkle-matic decided to shit the bed. That's why I swapped it out. Otherwise I would have kept it in there. But the Sparkle-matic players, they were just a cheap aftermarket unit, and they worked. They worked just fine. But, you know, it took... Because, I mean, that Sparkle-matic was probably... Like, I don't know the exact year that they were made, but it was, like, early to mid-'80s, right? They maybe even came out in the 70s, to be fair. So, I mean, that stereo unit lived until 2025. It's not bad. Yeah, I mean, if I was gonna do, like, sound and whatever else in the car, which I'm not really planning on doing, like, a lot with the stereo, like, don't get me wrong, I have plans with the stereo, but it's not gonna be anything fantastical. I am just going to, like, I need my parts car, and that's why, like, I either need a truck, and I need to find a trailer, to borrow or whatever, or, I just need to gut the whole thing, and then, I mean, I still need a truck and trailer for this, to be fair. And then, like, for my parts car, and take their carcass to IPL, UPL, and just see what they give me for that carcass that's just going to be crushed. Because there was to be nothing left by the time I'm done. But, because now, I'm just doing a mostly factory stereo in Stitch. Like, I have... the original, like, premium sound from Ford, for it from 82, and it's actually set up for a factory amp. So, oddly enough, I have a factory amp, which is kind of rare to find them. So that thing, I might steal a couple of speakers out of it, steal the amp out of it, and then have a 4-speaker system in the car. It's not going to be much. Like, I don't want to cut the doors. I don't really want to, you know, make a big speaker box or a sub box or anything like that in the truck. I'm not interested in doing that on this car. So, yeah. But, and hey, don't worry, Cincy. I appreciate you hopping into the live. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care and have a wonderful sleep. Had a Pioneer component system in the late 70s. That's awesome. Like I said, I really... Like, I love vintage equipment like that. Like, the 8-track that I put in the truck, actually. Now, it didn't really fit or anything like that, but, you know, it's cool. Oh, it's not going to have fully stock speakers, okay? Bear that in mind. And I will eventually, like, do a full thing, but... so I do have... oh, what are those speakers? I got them in, actually, as part of the T-Bird deal for selling it. I got to keep the speakers. What the hell are those? I can see the box, but I can't remember the fucking name of them off the top of my head. They're pretty good, but I can't remember what they are. They're a 4-way speaker, that are 6x9s that'll go in the package tray. And then afterwards, I will just have, if my brain will work here. And then I'll just have the 2 speakers up front with the amp in the middle, I think. Is what I'm going to do. And yes, I do all my own work typically on the vehicles. It's very rare I farm something out. Although I am going to have to farm something out on the car here soon. I'm pretty sure I have a ball joint going out. Again, fucking cheap-ass ball joints. I'm just going to buy a good ball joint and be done with it. Hey, the truck already has an outline. Sweet. So, I mean, I don't have to do much of that truck at all. I love it. Love it. Love it. And that thing, like, yeah. See, now, the only thing is, I'm wondering when I will get this truck. You know? Because I know, like I said, you wanted to get your taco on the road, and then we were going to go from there. But, you know, that thing will be fantastic. And like I said, it'll be functional, too, because now it's funny that my buddy, and I understand, he wants me to complete the rest of our deal for that 8-8 rear end in the Capri. That's fine, and I will do that. But I need to get the 8-8 rear end to him at some point. So, and oddly enough, he lives in Calgary, but that whole car is up in Edmonton. So, if I could get a way to get the Capri here, so I can strip it, would be fantastic. I just don't have a way to get it here right now. Like, I'd have to talk to my buddy Keith and see if he'd be willing to bring it down. You know, and go from there. So it clears out a space in his field. Not that he really needs room, but it clears out a space in his field. It gets the car here, and then I can do all the shit to it here that I want to do. As in, cut out the rear quarters, chop the roof off of it, take the dash out, take the steering column out, and then anything else that might be salvageable on it that I can sell, I'm going to take off the car. Then the rest of it, I will just put out a post and be like, somebody come get this piece of shit out of my yard. You can take it for free. I don't care. Right? It's going to have no rear axle. It's going to have no front suspension in it. So, because like I'll keep the like the control arms and stuff. Because oddly enough, I might need those control arms, to be fair. Because with the Keyway 1 stuff, I am not aware if I can keep the stock control arms that are on this. So this has, with the inline 6, it's got a unique control arm. Although, to be fair, it's not that unique, because I believe it's shared with the 4 cylinders. And I don't know if that'll all bolt up correctly to the K-member or not. I haven't a clue. So we're gonna have to find that shit out. So that's gonna be a fun undertaking to figure all that out. Which, to be fair, that's why I just want that control arm and like all of that here. So then, yeah, and then if I have to, you know, with like the spindle and whatever else, if I have to go to V8 brakes, so be it. Yes, I'm doing the QA1 tubular K-member in the car. So, like I said, that's going to take a bit, because also, not only do I need to figure out, like I said, if my stock control arms will work in it, but then also, if for like motor mounts, I'm gonna need to get custom motor mounts made for it, which are probably just gonna be solid mount, to be fair. And because yeah, to my knowledge, nobody has ever done a tubular K-member and kept the straight 6 in a Fox body. I have never heard of anybody doing it. So this is uncharted territory, and it's going to be a world first. So I really can't wait, honestly, for that. Like, it's going to be pretty good. And plus, with the coilovers that I'm getting, and with the sway bar kit, it's going to be fan-fucking-tastic. Yeah, so many people, like, so many people would swap in a V8 in a heartbeat, especially when I'm doing this. But I'm not. I've spent the money to retain the 6. I'm keeping that 6 in the goddamn car. And hey, JGW, how you doing? But yeah, so it's going to be interesting. And then as well, in the chassis, like, do I want to lower the engine in the chassis? As an example, that'll have to be a discussion that I have. Like, because I'll have to talk to my fabricator buddies and see what can be done about that. And now, do we just keep it at stock height, or do we try and lower it a little bit? Not a ton, but just a little bit. Um, I'm not sure, to be honest. And no, the front end is not new. This front end has been on the car since mid-August last year. And so, like, I had an 85 front end, actually, at that point, and then I swapped to this Capri front end instead. And it just looks so much better, honestly. Like, it's so much more aggressive and stuff, and it's great. So, next up, though, is going to be the Capri recorders. Do that. And then it's going to be freaking mint. I really cannot wait. You run 300s and only have 3-year trucks? Nice, nice. Well, see, to be honest, like, so this isn't the 300, though. This is the 200, right? So, bit smaller of an engine. Nowhere near as much torque. Well, I mean, I say that, but it's actually not that far off. So, like, this car, on the dyno, it made 100 wheel horsepower and 220 foot-pounds of torque. Right? And I am so glad that somebody said it. That's what I'm going for. Is the IMSA look. That is what I am doing. So, eventually, now I need to get the acrylic, that way, and then I'm going to, or Lexan, whatever I choose, to be honest, I'm gonna build myself the headlight covers for this thing. Because I miss that look. I had that look on my other front end, and the problem is those headlight covers do not fit a Capri. They only fit Mustangs. Because little did I know, they updated the design of the headlight opening from Mustang to Capri. I had no idea. So now that makes me curious of a 79 to 82 front end. Is it the same? 83 to 84, is it the same? And go from there. I mean, a 300 inline 6 is absolutely bulletproof. I will die on that hill, right? No. My engine was bone stock when I got it. I have not thrown a new cam into it, and I have not done anything like that. There's been no internal work on this motor. There's only been a double roller timing chain, so kind of internal, but not really. Other than that, I threw a new head gasket on it. I didn't need to, but I needed to try and fit a header properly. And a couple of the bolts sheared off and were flush, so they didn't want to come out. So I had to get the head off, get it to my buddy in Edmonton, so that he could get the welder to it and get it out. Oh, it's not going to be plexiglass and a heat gun. This is going to be, like, I'll just get, like, either, like I said, plexiglass or Lexan, and then I will make, headlight covers for this thing, and then I'll get, what I'm gonna do, actually, for that, is, there's a machine shop here in town, and I would ask him, hey, I'll deliver the car here, can you make me some trim rings to go around it, right? So then I'll have, like, stainless steel or something along those lines, trim rings around it, and it would look fucking amazing, honestly. So, like, it's kind of the looks that I'm going for with this car. So we'll see, and when this car gets all of its amazing upgrades with the suspension, whatever else, like, this thing is going to be an absolutely, like, potent weapon on the track. It will be. It's also going to be getting some power upgrades. Whether I go with the tri-power or whether I sell that tri-power setup and go with a a crossflow head or an Argentinian head or a Brazilian head, or not Brazil, correction. It was Argentinian, or maybe it was Brazilian. Yeah, I think it was Brazilian. Yeah. Or an Aussie 250 with the, removable intake. It's gonna be one of those heads that I would go with if I don't go with the tri-power that I've got. So we'll see. And well, I appreciate that, Chris. Like, it's one of these things where, like, and a lot of my ideas wouldn't be realized without the help of some of my friends that I've gotten, and some of the, you know, the people that I've met and the connections I've made have made it so that this dream can become a reality, right? Because I do have some decent fabrication skills, but it's nothing compared to what I actually need. Like, I'm sure I could figure out a motor mount, as an example, to build, but I'm not doing that with a fucking flux core welder. Like, that's what I got right now. So, I don't have a 220 hookup at my house, as an example, and trying to figure it out, like, I could do it, probably, but it would take me a bit to try and figure out, okay, where do I want the motor height, and then, not only that, but, you know, where do I want to put the motor exactly, like, and I'd probably just measure exactly where it is, so I don't have to worry about, any of the other mounts, right? It would just be the same spot, so... But like I said, it's mostly just height. Of like, do I want to lower the motor down a little bit? Or do I want to keep it the same height? I'm not going to raise it up, obviously. It's going to be, you know, either the same or maybe lowered, say, an inch. I wouldn't do much more than that because then it gets all fucked up with your drive shaft angles, and I don't want to deal with that. Well, see, I also don't want to have to cut down my drive shaft if I can help it. And it's pretty close to the firewall as it is. Like, to be honest... I have this much room between the motor and the firewall. There's that much room. So it's not really worth trying to put it too far back that way. Now, don't get me wrong. With my drive shaft, I'd have to actually see what... I know I cut my drive shaft a tad bit short, but also, the car is going to get lowered with those... that suspension in the car. I can go as low as 2 inches for that way, or the stock ride height. So it's one of those deals where I'm gonna have to figure out where I want it. Like, and as an example, maybe it just drops an inch on the street, and then I do the full 2 inches when I hit the track, which I think that's what I might want to do, just so that the car isn't too low, so that I can still drive it, right? Exactly. See, Kelly knows what's up. Now, because to be honest, I might keep it at the stock ride height. So we'll see. We'll see. Now, here's the thing. I've already had it cut down before and balanced my drive shaft when we did the T5 swap, because we had to. And that cost, it wasn't that bad, actually. From Pat's Driveline, I think it was called Pat's Driveline, in Edmonton. It only cost like $130. So it wasn't that bad. But it's one of those things where if I can help it, I don't want to do that. Plus, I would need to be in the Edmonton area. Otherwise, it makes it a real pain in the ass to have to go up there, send it off there, wait like a week, and then get it back. You know? So, we'll kind of see how everything works out. I mean, alternatively, if I can get a connection with somebody who could make me a carbon fiber drive shaft, you bet your ass your girl here would actually do a carbon fiber drive shaft in this fucking car. 100%. And so how can somebody be a toy made by Hasbro there, bro? Let me ask you that. How does one become a plastic toy? Yeah, well... I mean, a brand new drive shaft would be pricey. Don't get me wrong. Like, but that's why, like, if I was going to spend the money, I'd just go carbon fiber. Because carbon fiber is safer, to be honest. And then I'd do drive shaft lube on it and just be done with it. Like, I would never, ever hurt that drive shaft. But, you know, it's just a, hey, if I ever decide that I'm going to make a bunch of power with this thing, it would be nice. So, I'm in Alberta. Alberta, Canada. But yeah, like, to be honest, they are fantastic. And they actually had a pretty quick turnaround when it came to, like, doing that. Because I think I had them shorten the drive shaft. I only needed an inch, and I think I did an inch and 3/4 instead. So that if I ever wanted to lower the car, I could. Right? So I left myself that bit of room. Hey, Saber, you have food, dude. You have food. Why are you being a shithead? Oh, yeah, no, that's valid. 456 gears? Yeah, you definitely have to watch the speed of that, because you don't want that spinning too fast, because otherwise, it's going to go bye-bye. So, how do you think I am, DMDV? Yes, that name. How old do you think I am? Let me ask you that. I have a T5. Now, don't get me wrong. I'd have to talk to Tanner and actually see if he's actually serious about this. My buddy Tanner wants to donate me a T56. And so it'd be way overkill, but everything I'm doing on this car is overkill, let's be honest. So if I did the T56 swap in this thing, I'd need a new drive shaft regardless, because that is so much shorter. And yeah, and at that point, like, I'd want to go carbon fiber, to be fair. I would. But you know what's interesting is all the stuff that I have to figure out with all of the weird shit that I want to do to this car, nobody's ever done. Like, people have done TVD6s in a Fox body, yes. But people have never done, like, a TVD6 with an inline 6. Not very many people have done a T5 with the inline 6 in the Fox body. So that, you know, that's it. Interesting. I've never heard that before. But honestly, like, if everything works out with this car, it'll have a TVD6 with, like, say, a Paxton supercharger on it, with a good cam in it, with built internals, making about 300-ish horsepower when it's all said and done. With a TVD6 behind it, carbon fiber drive shaft, and carbon fiber panels on the car. Because my buddy Pat, he keeps trying to convince me to go carbon fiber on the car. Which, now here's the thing. He actually has made carbon fiber panels before. And he's like, yeah, you know what? If you supply the materials, we can build it. It's like, ooh, bet. And I make a whopping 100 wheel horsepower and 224 pounds of torque. So, you know, she's not a super fast vehicle, but she has a lot of fun. And like I said, I road race the car, so overall power isn't really relevant, right? Like, it is, but it's not. It doesn't play as big of a factor as you think when you're road racing. But I put it this way, I will be 30 in June. Not a small block bell housing. Nope. This uses its own bell housing. The starter is mounted up high, and it uses a 136 tooth flywheel that's zero balance. So it is honestly a it was a pain in the ass to do the T5 swap on it. Your Civic would gap me, dude. That 100% it would gap me. 140 horsepower and something that weighs less than my car does. Now, I have more torque, but yeah. Now, granted, I will race anybody. I don't really care, but I'm just saying, you will beat me. Guaranteed. I don't have carbon fiber. I never said that. I said that we might be doing carbon fiber on the car. And if I do that, the weight will be a lot closer to your Civic. The car, when it was bone stock, was 2,680 pounds. Still very light for, you know, a Fox body, but not where I want it. You know, I'd be absolutely ecstatic if this thing, when it's all said and done with everything we do to it, if the curb weight is around 2,200 pounds, I'd be ecstatic with that. So we'll see. We'll see. Honestly, any amount of weight that we can lose is a benefit. You know, but like, this car, if it works out, fenders, hood, doors, rear quarters, and trunk will all go carbon fiber. The rest of it will stay steel just because I don't want to fuck with floor pans with carbon fiber. That just sounds like too much of a pain in the ass. And I don't want to deal with the roof structure and trying to make that carbon fiber. Again, that sounds like a real pain in the ass. So, Arden, my light-ass car drives extremely smooth. So I don't know what you're talking about, Willis. Like, this thing drives just as smooth as the T-Bird does. The only difference is the seat in the T-Bird is just very pillowy, where the seat in this is not as much. So, and there is 1,000-pound difference between those two cars. Just saying. Adamantium doesn't exist. That is from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So there's that. Jesus is the Son of God. Jesus is not God, dude. Like, if you're gonna preach, at least get your information right, dog. So it's just so funny when religious people want to come into my chat and they get their information wrong. That's the basis of Christianity, by the way. But we're not going to get too far into, into religious talk, to be honest. But it's just so funny when people say that. And I just laugh. Rick. So it is currently 7 o'clock, and it's still not dark enough to finish my video yet. But that's okay. Oh, I mean, I do notice in the car that I get blown about a bit. But to be fair, it's not because the car's lightweight, it's because it's shaped like a brick. Again, your information is wrong, dude. Like this Dylan dude. Jesus is the mighty God and the everlasting Father. No. He was the Son of God. Like, what? No. The whole thing was that Mary had a virgin birth, and it was caused by God, and then on December 25th, although that's not actually an accurate date, but regardless, that's the date that they decided to choose in modern times. On December 25th, he was born. And look at that. And then he's a son of God, and God is looking down on him and making sure he's doing all of the proper stuff. And that's why he was gifted with being able to cure the sick and, help people and all the different jazz, right? Because he had the power from God. So it's just so funny when people try and say that. It's like, no, I was raised as a Catholic in Catholic school. I know the scriptures and shit. But people get it wrong, and it's just so funny. It's like, it's there. It's in the Bible. It's right there. But anyways, so now I'm not religious now, but I grew up religious. Anyways, I stopped being religious when I was 13. So there's that. And what kind of truck am I thinking of getting? I don't have anything in mind. Like, to be fair, Kelly in the chat, has a truck for me. That eventually will be in my hands in some way or another. That is, I can't remember the year of it, but it is an OBS Ford 300 straight 6, single cab, short box, step side, stick shift. In the factory fuchsia pink. Excuse me. At some point, that will be my truck. And it'll be fan-fucking-tastic. I can't wait. Oh my god, that is fucking hilarious. So, I mean, judging by that, he's got to be Jehovah's Witness. If he's saying that, that's Jehovah's Witness. Which, fun fact, is an actual cult. But sure, bud. That is great. That is fucking fantastic. Oh, that's just hilarious. It's the arrow, right? So like the OBS Fords were from 90, what was it, 92 to 97? 96? Something like that. 91 or 92 to 97 is the OBS Ford. The one that like my dad had, you know. Except Jesus wasn't against religion. What? He praised the scriptures of the Bible and stuff. He praised the Ten Commandments and all that stuff and lived by them. No, OBS, that's OBS Chevy, and even still, that's not even correct. So, how it goes with the, how it goes with the nicknames of the Ford trucks. To as far back as I can remember, it goes bump side, dent side, bull nose, brick nose, OBS. That's the 5 generations from 1960, what is it? 67 to 72, 73 to 79, 81 to 85 or 86, 87 to 90, 91 to 97. They all word was 91 or 92 to 97. I promise you. Some people call it the arrow nose. Yes, but that's not usually what people call it. It's usually OBS. Which people get confused because of the OBS Chevy, to be fair. But that is how it's done on like all the forums and stuff too. So technically, but where the term came from with Fords, they use for the 91 to 97 Fords. That's all I'm saying. Again, arrow nose is technically correct, but when I think of arrow nose, I don't think of that front end. I think of the next generation after that, to be honest. But they don't call it that. I can't remember what they call. I think they call it the bubble generation or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. It gets confusing, honestly, with nicknames of fucking trucks and shit. Was my opinion on 07 to 13 Silverado? Fantastic, honestly. Those trucks are pretty good overall. And, especially 2007 to 2008, because no cylinder deactivation. DOD. So it doesn't eat camshafts and drop lifters. Unlike the 09 and up Silverados. So, like, if somebody was to get one of those, I would say 07, 08. Now, if you're going for the diesel, then there isn't too much to worry about there. But yeah. And now 97 GTS, absolutely. Gen 2 Viper, which, the weird thing is? And most people don't realize this about the Viper. They made the first generation Viper and the second generation Viper at the same time. Very interesting. 07 to 09. I wouldn't say 09. I'd say 07 to 08. But yes. Very, very reliable. Because, like, the 09 is when they started to do that cylinder deactivation, and it's just a ticking time bomb for that camshaft. They started that in 2009. Which is, again, I know why they did it, but it's stupid. They did it for emissions. They didn't do it for fuel economy. Because, fun fact, when you delete that shit, you get better fuel economy. Because go figure, when you're trying to push a 4,000 or almost 5,000 pound truck or more through only running on 4 cylinders, it makes it that the engine has to work a lot harder to do that. So, when it only has half the power that it should. And, hey, appreciate the subscription there, Dylan. Thank you, dude. But yeah, to be honest, it's one of these deals. You know, and the fun part of it is about my channel, and when you do see me, like, see my videos and stuff, it's mostly focused on this Fox body and behind me here. And we're pretty Fox body centric, but we do other things. Like, I just had a 76 F250 that I sold a little over a week ago. And so that truck was awesome, and I liked it, but it went towards a full QA1 sponsorship for this thing, because I actually got sponsored by QA1. So all that money got dumped into suspension for this thing. So it's fucking awesome, honestly, and I can't wait. And so, yeah, but we do some stuff with trucks, and I will have more videos on trucks in the future. Like, my dad's truck will be in a couple videos here and there. And when I eventually get a truck, you know, we'll see from there as well. And 350 small block Chevy superiority, I mean, good motor. Fantastic engines. You'll never hear me say anything bad about a 350. They're pretty good. You know, I just prefer my Fords. That's all. But literally, there's nothing wrong with a 350. I've had a couple of trucks with 350s in them. Well, one was a van and the other one was a truck. So I had a 94 Chevy 2500 truck, single cab long box, or no, actually that was a 1500 truck that was converted to propane with a 350, right? That was good. I did actually really like that truck overall. I only owned it for a week and I flipped it and I made a few $100. You know, so then the other one that I had was an 84 GMC Vandura conversion van. Had the 350, 700 R4, swivel buckets, button tuck velour, the works. It was fan-freaking-tastic. High top. I loved that van. I wish I still had it, but it didn't end up working out, and that's okay. Also, I wonder where Rascal... Oh, there's Rascal. He's on top of the air conditioner. What's I'm marching in again? Let's see. Shelby GT350R and a Ford GT in 05 is your dream garage. I mean, pretty good dream cars, to be fair. Gotta love that flat playing crank singing its songs away. With that GT350, and of course that supercharger whine from the Ford GT is pretty badass, dude. Also, hey, one also, how you doing? Kate Siebert, you have food, bro. Why are you begging for food when you have food? My cat's being annoying. What if I say I'm not like the others? What if I say I'm not just another one? Your place, your pretender. What if I say I will never surrender? What if I say I'm not like the others? What if I say I'm not just another one? Your place, you're the pretender. I love rat rods, honestly. Like, rat rods are so cool, and I love the expression of rat rods, because there's no rules to them, right? People can do whatever they want, and it's freaking fantastic. And it's great, honestly. Like, I love the overall style. I love that they, you know, there's no rules. Like, you can run like a diesel, you can run gas motor, you can do whatever you want. They're so cool. Honestly, I like them. And how was the swap? The swapping was good, honestly. It was fun. I enjoyed myself, honestly. Got a lot of exercise, and it was great. But I don't know why you said just kidding. Anybody have any Red Cab Rangers or F-150s for sale? I'm not sure if anybody in the chat. I mean, maybe. But, and am I into modern vehicles? I do like some modern vehicles, but I prefer my classics, to be honest. I really do. Okay, I mean, I've never seen Idiocracy, to be fair, the movie. I've never seen that. You know, I've heard it's a good movie. I've just never seen it. So there's that. All right. Again, I know the premise of the movie, but yeah, I've never seen it. personally. But like, and that's the thing. Like, there's a couple of more modern vehicles I would own, but give me a carburetor and give me like a mechanical stick shift, and I'm happy. Give me a cable or a Z-bar, and I'm just ecstatic. I prefer cable though. And people are like, "Well, why do you like cable? You just have to adjust it constantly." I've adjusted this thing once in 3 years, so there's that. Um, it's been fantastic, and it's nice that we actually made it so we can adjust it. Oh, uh, there's a good chance that if you're Radcat Blue, there's a good chance he blew a head gasket, unfortunately. I'm fingers crossed for you, but there's a good chance of it, unfortunately. And so, if your system has more than the 16 pounds going through the cooling system, that's just broken down from where its originating spot was. And that usually means it's a blown head gasket. But I would double check everything and make sure. But yeah, that's not a good sign. Ugh, frick. I'm so tired, honestly. So tired. Ooh. Yeah, that's not bueno. Yikes, dude. That is scary stuff, honestly. But I mean, here's hoping though that your stuff is good. And hey, no worries there, Geo. I appreciate you coming in and chatting. It was fun. You know, your experience on the whole sound discussion was fantastic. Uh, take care, and we'll catch you later, man. Take care. I always forget that like different time zones, or whatever else, right? That way, like how late it actually is for other people. So, like as an example, like I'll do a live stream. Right now, it's only and in fact, okay, he said it's 10, so he's got to be like on the coast in like New Brunswick or PEI or something like that for it to be 10 there. Oh wait, I'm a dumbass. Actually, no, I'm not. I forgot. I haven't changed that clock yet. I thought it was still 7. No, it's actually 8. Yeah, I just haven't changed the one clock in the house. Too funny. Too funny. But yeah, although, like I said, I'm just waiting for it to get a little darker outside. And then I'm going to end the live and actually finish my video and then upload that. And that'll be available tonight for y'all to see. With tinting the headlights. Because I want to see how that looks, honestly. Which, oddly enough, I do actually have. I got to find the footage. But I think somebody liked that video on TikTok. So I can just save that video and then have that as my setup. You know, that way. Woman in spring, tell me why. Moment when you're broken another time. Let's see, because can I find that? Because I'm pretty sure somebody liked it, so I can probably find it if I scroll down through the list of videos and stuff like that that people have liked. That's the cool part about TikTok, is it tells me, right? There it is. So if I just save this, Oh, wait. I just realized I'm trying to save that on this phone. I should be saving on that phone. Haha! Cancel that. Can I share it to myself? I mean, well, I guess I can. Can I do it this way? Um. Oh, I can just do it this way. Yeah. There we go. Perfect. Sent it to myself. All right, actually, so the chat seems to be now dead, unfortunately, which sucks, but it is what it is. So I'm going to actually sign off here. I appreciate everybody tuning into the live. Y'all were awesome. We've made it about an hour and a half in, which is pretty good. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful rest of your night, and we'll catch you later. Bye!